Over 1,100 Jarvis workers have been sacked. They did it over a bank holiday weekend. People were expecting the pay the following day. They've not received any pay. We're now moving into the 6th week without any money.
We're in our 7th week at the moment with no money, no income at all.
25 years service down the plug, or left school, joined the railway, started with British Rail. Obviously the railway's privatised, Jarvis took over our department.
I've just stayed loyal to the company, and this is the reward you get for 23 years of hard work. Turning out weekends, nights, just to be told you're no longer wanted.
Clearly, we're having to take matters into our own hands. We're trying to persuade politicians to get involved because the work is still there. It's a funding problem with the company and Network Rail. There's something in the region of £180 million worth of work in the already agreed work bank. There's a vast amount of money already owed from work already completed. When Jarvis went to voluntary administration, the appointed Deloittes, we've had less than 10-15 minutes worth of talks with them as a trade union.
They've known they were in trouble for a long time. It's for years. There's rumours. They struggle financially, and then something will happen. We had shares in Jarvis a long time ago, and they did a thing called debt for equity. I can't remember the exact year they did that, and we lost. We had like 3,000 shares, and it went down to 152, which we worked out the other day is worth about £1.48 now.
Reorganised and back on track. What a joke. What a joke. This is 2 days before we were told we've got no jobs. Reorganised and back on track.
They must have spent thousands of pounds on them seminars.
It was every man from the toilet cleaner to the top director that was on this course. Yeah. And you're talking maybe 2,000 people?
More?
More?
Yeah. How much did that cost?
And how much did that cost? This was a company that was supposed to be with no money. With no money, and every man took a day off. 2,000 people took a day off to go on this course for that.
The part of Jarvis PLC that created the debt is still in existence. Deloitte think they can save them. So you've got Jarvis Accommodation Services, Jarvis Facilities Management, that got themselves involved in the private finance initiatives, building prisons, cleaning schools, buying shares in Estonian railways, into airport authorities. That's where the bubble burst, flying around the country in helicopters. They're still there. The railway has never made a loss. The railway has always made a profit.
As soon as we were out the door, the cake's sliced up and given out to other people.
Yeah, last day before.
We didn't even get to collect any crumbs, did we?
They've signed the contracts over to other companies. The work is still in the areas where the work is. If you've got a railway line between Leeds and Manchester, that railway line's between Leeds and Manchester. The railway line between York and Doncaster is between York and Doncaster. So the people that are here are the people that do that work. They've given it to a company that doesn't employ anybody here. It's not the recession. They keep trying to go on. We've had 2,000 redundancies. The workforce that was left was for the reduced amount of work after the Office of Rail Regulator and after Network Rail's cuts. That work isn't going to change. It's budgeted for, it's there, it's accounted for, and it is going to be done. But unfortunately, it's going to be done by transient labour, agency workers, and nobody's going to blame these people. They've been forced into a position. We had well-paid, highly skilled staff that still made a profit for the company, and we had a decent living. They're now actually employing people on £6 an hour. They're travelling from all over the country. We've spoken to the various politicians that we can, and they're simply saying that they can't ask Network Rail to intervene. Network Rail are a private company, and therefore it's their decision. Network Rail are doing the usual Pontius Pilate Act, saying that it's got nothing to do with us. It clearly has got something to do with them. They only had to release funding up front for work already done, and we'd have still been in work. We've got the civil engineers department in here. I just want to speak to one of the engineers that sacked us and ask him how they can do this work safely without us. Just want to comment.
I'm sorry, no, I've been told not to let you in.
Who's told you?
Well, from...
I know, you're only doing your job, mate. Nobody's having to go at you. But you couldn't give me the name of who told you, because they're all cowards.
Well, no, it's our facilities manager, actually. So
Yeah.
They don't
So
work,
they know we're here, but they don't want to speak to us.
They don't work for Network Rail anyway, so it's a different company altogether.
Well, let's got Network Rail logos on here. There must be somebody who works for Network Rail,
Yeah,
yeah?
but there's,
How many people work in this building?
well, 8 to 900, yeah.
8 to 900.
Yeah.
Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder that we can't sustain a living wage? Well, there's all these people sat on the backside.
Oh, no,
sat-
I agree with you.
Not your fault, mate. Not your. Can you let us out? You know how cynical, how nasty, bullying that Network Rail are, and there's no point trying to get them to intimidate their staff. There's a lot of people in there who've got a lot of sympathy for you. These people who are in charge are cowards. They don't come out on faces. They're hiding behind loopholes in the law. They're a disgrace, and it's shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
Network Rail. There are, I think at the moment, there are something like 5 executive directors, led by Ian Coucher. Now the good soul decided from the good of his heart last year that he wasn't going to take his annual bonus. So he gave up his £350,000 annual bonus, took his long-term incentive plan, took his salary and his salary increase, took the other benefits that he gets, including the top up to his pensions, and the soul only went away with just under £1 million last year. There are 8 non-executive directors in the Network Rail board. They get paid £60,000 a year each. Some of them have never ridden in a train. None of them are engineers. £60,000 they get. 2 days a month, £60,000 a year. Now I don't know what they do, but I do know when I speak to them that they know absolutely bugger all about the railway. But they like pocketing the money. That's where the money's going, because when you replicate that into the hundreds of companies that have now got their finger in the pie, that's why it's costing the taxpayer 5 times as much. That's why it's costing the passenger the dearest fares in Europe. And I'm saying to you clearly, that is why we're going to have a less safe industry, railway industry in the future, if we allow them to get away with this.
£19 million, that's all it was going to cost to keep you on for 4 more weeks so an administrator could sell you on as a going concern. Network Rail kiboshed that plan, deliberately. And what are they now doing? They're haggling over prices with the other contractors to see if they can drive down the cost even more. They've got £30 billion to spend over the next 5 years. 30 billion. Money that we have guaranteed them, because we as taxpayers guaranteed that company, and yet they couldn't find £19 million to ensure that you could save your jobs. We're pressurising both Network Rail and the politicians to turn around and get into these companies, and whether it be on fast line, on-track machines, or the track renewals, or the signalling Cat C contracts, is to say to the companies that are picking up that work, you should employ Jarvis workers. They're highly skilled, well motivated, and they're good workers. That's what our aim is.
Mr. Brown keeps preaching about jobs.
Yeah.
What statement has he made about what's happened to the Jarvis and Fastline workers that have been put on a dole through no fault of their own?
I have written to Gordon Brown.
I know you've written, contact, text, talk to people, but nothing's happening at the top, is it?
There's conspiracy theories going on.
Well, I understand
Jarvis
that.
workers had the best terms and conditions amongst the railway contractors, and they've all been placed on a dole, and they're trying to do away with their T's and C's. This is what this is all about. Nothing to do with keeping us on. They just want to do away with our T's and C's and deteriorate everyone else's terms and conditions.
What I can do as a politician is say the government's put up the money for these track renewals. The money's there. The work needs to be done. They must get on and let the contracts and hire you guys who know how to do the work. Push as hard as I possibly can to make sure they deliver.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
It's nice to hear your support, but until we get a proper response, a proper result, that's the time I'll start cheering.
Gordon Brown saying he wants to save jobs. He's got a chance to save jobs. He's got a chance to save 2,000 jobs. But he stands in there, jobs. He's just let 2,000 go. He wants to get rid of another 1,500 maintenance men. And it's just going to be just waiting for an accident to happen. Like they did with Plotters Bar, Grey Rig. It'll come. Just a matter of time.